I smiled at the mess of balloons and bubbling baby laughter, a glass of champagne in my hand that I had no desire to drink. The room wavered slightly. My sister leaned in, her words sharp enough to cut through every conversation around us. Your son, he's your husband's child. So as inheritance, I'm entitled to half of your $800K house. She lifted the will like a blade. I stood still, lips curved, swallowing a laugh, because my husband was gone. And so was her story. It should have been a day for mourning, not confession. But betrayal doesn't check the calendar. It waits in the open, pretending to be invisible. I think back to the first day I met him. That warm grin, that easy charm, he was the kind of man who made your chest tighten in all the right ways. We joked about everything, nonsense, deep fears, dreams. I trusted him with all I had. I built my world around him, around us. And I loved him with a fire. The fractures came quietly. A phone that buzzed too often. Eyes that darted away from mine. Work, he'd claim, too repeatedly, too smoothly. I noticed the rhythm, but I didn't accuse. I watched. My heartbreak demanded evidence. And then the messages appeared, the ones I was never supposed to read. Names. Times. Promises that belonged to someone else. That's when the betrayal hardened. I kept everything inside. No shouting. No tears for anyone to witness. I strategized. That was the first moment I'd felt power since discovering the truth. My love had blinded me. My revenge would be the unveiling. I researched everything, his money, his routines, his little slips. I followed each lie back to where it started. Every confidant of his became a puzzle piece. I waited, patient, calculated. The law, his pride, his ego, they became my instruments. Months later, the plan locked into place with perfect precision. I gathered legal papers, notified banks, contacted executives. I built a path of accountability, silent, but unbreakable. By the time the truth struck him, he had no moves left to make. His life insurance, his accounts, the assets he thought he could hide, they fell under my control. Every dollar, every claim, carefully traced. And the irony, I never had to face him. He was already gone. But the remnants of his deceit would be taken apart piece by piece. That's when my sister inserted herself, convinced she could profit from her own lies. I recognized it instantly, the same arrogance, the same belief that I was oblivious. So there I stood, surrounded by streamers and shrieking toddlers, watching her wait for her moment of triumph. She expected my shock, my panic. Instead, I offered a slow, intentional smile. "Oh," I murmured. "I understand." She squinted at me, the wool trembling between her fingers. You're not surprised." I leaned in, voice soft but edged with steel. "You're mistaken. Your claim means nothing. Half of nothing is still nothing." Color drained from her face. I let her sit with it. The silence that followed pressed heavy, electric, around us. She scanned my features, searching for fear, outrage, weakness. She found nothing. Only the steady assurance of justice delivered. I watched realization creep over her like a shadow. A baby cooed nearby, unaware of the quiet collision happening in the room. My sister's fantasy of inheritance crumbled in front of her, slowly, unmistakably. She never saw it coming because she underestimated the woman she'd betrayed. I let her marinate in it. Let her imagine the shame that would cling to her forever. I sipped my champagne. The sweetness didn't matter. The victory did. I didn't need to boast. My composure was enough. Justice, calm, deliberate, beautifully executed. When I finally walked out, I felt lighter than air. The house, the true inheritance of what once was love, of a life I had built, was safe. The echo of betrayal lingered, but it no longer lived inside me. My husband's secrets, my sister's greed, my own broken heart, they had all become weapons I handled with precision. And in that brief, quiet moment outside, I realized something. Revenge isn't loud. It doesn't need applause. It's the slow, unavoidable arrival of truth. And when it lands flawlessly. I didn't fall. I rose. And no one would ever recognize the sharp mind behind my calm, not until their time had already run out.